First step of the forehand volley is the pivot and the shoulder turn. Coming out of the split step, pivot with the outside foot, transfer your weight to that foot, and turn the shoulder sideways. Now, just like a forehand or a backhand ground stroke, the pivot and the shoulder turn is how you start to take your racket back, but there are a couple differences. First, if we replay the pivot and the shoulder turn, what you'll notice is that when I pivot and turn, I'm laying the racket head back. So I'm laying the racket back with my wrist. And when I do that, even though my hand is in between my shoulders, so my hand is somewhere in between my shoulders, I don't want it coming any further back than my back shoulder, then I've taken it back too far. When I lay the racket back, the racket head is now behind my hand, so that's what you want. The hand's going to be in between the shoulders, but the racket head will be angled back. Now from the front view, the other thing I want to point out is that when you pivot and turn the shoulders, because the racket head is angled up, the racket and the arm, that relationship, some coaches have compared that to a U shape. So if we take a look one more time, I pivot, turn the shoulders, racket heads up, and the racket and the arm form a U, and that's the arm and racket position you want to be in. And from this spot, the preparation is done. So it's much more simple than a forehand or a backhand ground stroke. The preparation is done. From here, you're ready to swing. After Frank hits his split step, he pivots with his outside foot, transfers his weight to that foot, and he turns his shoulders sideways at the same time. Now, as he pivots and turns his shoulders, he lays his wrist back so that even though his hand is in between his shoulders, the racket head is angled back and it's further back than his hand. And from this position, now he's ready to swing forward. From the front, the other point I want to highlight is that when he pivots, turns, and lays his wrist back, because the racket head is angled up, the racket and his arm look sort of like a U shape. And again, that's the arm and racket position you want to be in when you pivot and turn, and that puts your racket in the correct position to swing forward, which is what he's going to do right now because his preparation is now complete. Oh.